Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. They're doing them wrong. That's what the Errol Spence fans think about Errol Spence and his return next year, which hopefully he and Fundora will get it on. But they feel like Errol Spence, if you let them tell it, should come back and in his first fight, somehow become undisputed champion at 154, 147, 160, 168. Listen, it just doesn't work like that. So is Errol Spence being done wrong? Hell no. Okay, now make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and leave that donation so I can go ahead and get me a little fried rice and chicken wings. Now look, man, this expectation that Errol Spence and Fundora is going to be a one-sided affair, and where Errol Spence is just going to get in the ring and clip Fundora by knockout. I just think that is just being very irresponsible for anyone to even think that would happen. Errol Spence has been sidelined for quite some time, since the Terrence Crawford fight, July of 2023, okay? By the time he gets in the ring, he'll be going on, 2 years being inactive. 2 years, almost 2 years of really not doing much training. And now he's not even with Derrick James anymore, okay? And then he had all kind of little, bumps and bruises and little issues with him, man, as far as his health, man. So to think he's going to come out here now and get in there against Fundora, who's been somewhat active, but I think they screwed Fundora, if you ask me. You look at what they did to Fundora. He fought Tim Tszyu, got the win, and then he was supposed to have a fight here, a fight there, and Fundora's career just totally fizzled out after beating Tim Tszyu because he upset the apple cart. Fundora wasn't supposed to win that fight. But anyway, he won it. Him and the sister made history. Sibling champions. It's pretty cool. But Fundora won't be getting back into the ring until when he fights Spence, if the fight even happens. But the thing about it is, and let me show you this right here, right? This is what I think is very interesting. Is when you look at this right here, let me pull it up for you. Right here. Make this a little bit smaller. Okay. When you come and you look here, Fundora, what is this bullshit popping up on my screen, man? Skip that. Get that crap off of there. All right. Fundora is the WBO and the WBC champion at 154. Now, unfortunately, Errol Spence will not have the opportunity to pick up that WBO strap. Now, some people are saying secret societies in full effect. They're screwing Errol Spence. But I don't think that's the case. What I think here is the WBC, We Be Crooks. They have Errol Spence ranked number 1. So, of course, they're giving Errol Spence an opportunity, based on the work he put in at 147, to come back and get a crack at the champion. Plus, we all know PBC, Al Heyman, and the WBC, the relationship is pretty solid. Anyway, but when you look at the WBO, the WBO and IBF, they kind of do what the hell they want. But, Errol Spence is nowhere to be found in the top 15 rankings for the WBO. So that's why they're saying, hey, Errol Spence can fight Fundora, but we're not going to give Errol Spence an opportunity to win that belt, so the WBO belt won't be on the line. And there are a lot of fans who are pissed about it, but I think it's the right thing to do. You can't just come and leapfrog everybody at 154 pounds. There's a lot of cats out there that's putting work in. Earl Spence has done nothing. Nothing. Now, I'm not saying Earl Spence, wasn't a great fighter. I'm not saying he doesn't have the potential to get to 154 and make some noise. But I'll be real with you. I don't think he beats Fundora. And I agree. I don't think he needs to be fighting for a WBO strap. I think he's very lucky to get the opportunity to fight for Fundora's WBC strap. So, to me, to proceed as a non-title fight in the WBO's eyes, I just think that's the right thing to do. And no matter what happens to Sebastian Fundora, he retains the belt. Look, if you were to take the belt from Fundora, and let's say Errol Spence beat Fundora, and they took the WBO belt and the WBC belts and gave them to Errol Spence. What would be Errol Spence's next move? Let's go back and look at this, right? See, that's my thing. What would be his next move? Now, make this a little bit smaller. When you come down, right, because maybe they give him an opportunity as a voluntary defense, right, of his titles. Or maybe he has to face a mandatory. But the bottom line is, Errol Spence could find himself having to face Sergey Bohachuk, it depends what happened with Madrimov and what's his name, Virgil Ortiz. But if Errol Spence was to beat Fundora and allowed to pick up the WBO and WBC straps, he could find himself in a position to where, these sanctioning bodies act funky. They'll try to levy a mandatory on you for the WBO and for the WBC, and he'll have to pick. The sanctioning bodies don't always work together. That's what sucks. But let's say they were working together. When you come down, you take a look at who's the number one ranked. You got Xander Zayas for the WBO. Then after Errol Spence, if he beats Fundora, you got Bohachuk, who has a fight coming up, which he should win. And then, Madrimov fighting Virgil Ortiz, which he's going to knock Virgil Ortiz out. Then Josh Kelly. You may see Errol Spence having to sit back and pick between goddamn Madrimov, Bohachuk, Xander Zayas. And to be honest with you, Xander Zayas it's not an impossible fight. But I think Xander Zayas would be the easier fight, and I'm not saying he's an easy opponent to defeat. I think he's an easier fight than Bohachuk and Madrimov for Errol Spence. As a matter of fact, when you look underneath the WBC, Xander Zayas is ranked number 4. So those would be the 4 opponents, the 3 opponents. Yeah, 3 opponents Errol Spence would be looking at, would be Bohachuk, Madrimov, and Xander Zayas. Because I'm sure it'll be one of those 3 names based on if Errol Spence was allowed to pick up the WBO strap and he got the WBC strap, those would be the names he's looking at. Now, if the Secret Society and Turkey Al-Sheikh and everybody gets together and do what they do, you could see Errol Spence, if they allow it again, the WBO and WBC strap, maybe he tries to fight the IBF strap, Murtazaliev, to become, again, unified. Or maybe Terrence Crawford is interested. I don't know. We know Crawford's going where the money's at. But that would be the situation. So either way it goes, Errol Spence is just in a difficult position, man, because Xander Zayas is not an easy fight for Spence. Bohachuk definitely is not an easy fight. And Madrimov's not an easy fight. So Errol Spence would be in a tough position depending on which one of those 3 he had to fight, as a mandatory if he was able to clip Fundora. But first and foremost, he got to get past Sebastian Fundora, the towering inferno I like to call Cockroach Man. But let's just digress for a second and focus on the facts, right? These are the facts. They're not doing them wrong. The fact is Errol Spence hasn't fought since July 2023, where he damn near got killed by Terrence Crawford in that 9th round, all right? He fought his heart out. He fought true champion, but Terrence Crawford put the beans on him, okay? Knocked down 3 times, could have been 4 times. Anyway, got tore out the frame. After that, man, him and Derek James had issues. Now he decides he wants to fight at 154 pounds. Talking about the weight cut was killing him. He should have never stayed at 147 that long. But the fact is this, he's never fought at 154. Okay? Now, that's not my opinion. He never fought at 154, even though he's always said he could fight at 154, 160, 168, 175, right? These are what the things Errol Spence was saying at one point in time in his career. But when you come out of that, you look, he's not even ranked, like I just said, by the WBO. He's not even ranked. Okay? That's a fact. So he just has a lot of things, I think, going against him, man. And I think it sets a horrible precedent if you take a guy like Errol Spence, no matter how good he is for the sport of boxing, and you bring him back to the sport after a damn near 2-year layoff, and you just put him in this number one spot for two different organizations, and you let him fight a guy like Fundora, and if he happens to beat him, he becomes a unified champion. First fight after 2 years. In a new weight class. That's crazy. But, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but that would lead, I'd say that would have some of them guys in the sanctioning bodies, ranked in those sanctioning bodies going crazy. They start running up and down the road biting people. Because you're out here busting your tail, trying to stay active, trying to fight, and then this guy comes who really doesn't deserve anything, and they start giving this man free gifts, and it's not even his birthday. So anyway, man, we'll see, man. But I'll tell you what, man, Spence has talked about things that some people still don't want to acknowledge. He keeps talking about that 2019 Ferrari crash. You know, he said, hey, man, that probably took something out of me. Affected my health, man. He's actually come out and said that. And you know what? We didn't need him to tell us that. Because that shit he went through was horrible, man. Horrible. And then splitting with Derrick James broke our hearts because you just would have never thought. That's one of them relationships where the trainer trained the fighter from the amateur ranks to the professional ranks and turned him into a champion. So that shit broke my heart a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, because it's like, damn. How come y'all can't get it right? You know what I'm saying? Y'all, you come up together. You should go out together. You should finish this together. But whatever happened, happened. But anyway, Fundora's licking his chops. And he's like, they ain't doing him wrong. You think that's being done wrong? Wait till I get my hands on him. Fundora's like, don't come out here talking about Errol Spence is diminished. Don't come out here talking about he's not the same. Because when I put these bing bings on him, I don't want no excuses about Errol Spence isn't a tenth of what he was. No. If I finish him, give me my credit. And I'm going to tell you what right now, man. I think Fundora deserves to be puffing his chest up a little bit because, he's been doubted. And even right now we talk about him. Look, even I'm saying, look, I think he beats Errol Spence, but I don't think Fundora hangs around too long. But I think Fundora can hold on to them titles for a very long time if he finally fights tall and stops fighting like Aesop Pitbull Cruz. What's Fundora? 7'6". This man out here fighting like he's 4'4". Dumb. But if he gets behind that goddamn 80-something inch reach, he makes the fights very simple. And these guys will have a tough time getting to him. But we'll see what he does with Spence. Anyway, is Errol Spence being done wrong? Does Errol Spence deserve an opportunity to become unified at his first fight after damn near 2 years? Should Errol Spence go into a rematch with Terrence Crawford? Should he retire? Does he have a chance to become undisputed at 154? Should he go to 160, 168? I mean, look, I don't know. But the one thing that I do agree with is I don't think he should be allowed an opportunity to alleviate that WBO strap off of Fundora if he beats him. I don't really agree with him fighting for the WBC strap, but because of how long he's been inactive. But at the same time, I'm glad to see him back. But I worry about that dude. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know these guys, period. But you can't help just as a human with a heart to watch Errol Spence and just say, why? Look, I don't have all those millions of dollars like Errol Spence. I don't have that shit. What did that man make? 40, 50 million when he fought Crawford? Forget about the money he made before that. The man was a multi-millionaire before that, but the man made like 40, 50 million when he fought Crawford. I have nothing like that. But I haven't worked in almost 6 years. Don't get me wrong, I got my shit together now. But I couldn't imagine what the different health issues and shit that I've endured and I go through to force myself to be put back into a physically stressing, mentally stressing, emotionally stressing occupation. For what? When life is good, there's nothing that could possibly go wrong in my life. Nothing that I can't handle financially. Nothing. So it comes to a point where it's like, well, what the fuck are you doing? And I haven't been through, I ain't been through nothing like Errol Spence in that car crash. Nothing like that. So that's why I sat there and watched him. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why, man? Anyway, good luck to Errol Spence. I don't want to see him in the ring. I want to see that man out there on his farm, posting little clips of him and his kids, seeing them grow. Man, growing shit. He country as hell already. Go on out there and be a country boy. Be a goddamn cowboy. Like McCumbee when he fought Caleb Plant. Be a goddamn cowboy. But this boxing shit, I don't think is for Errol Spence. I just don't think so. I think he needs to chill. You just never know, man. I can't remember what fight it was. There was a boxer. He got into a fight. He had a boxing match, or in that boxing match, his brain, some of the tissues became detached. Anyway, he was walking around normal. Got through another training camp and got into the next fight. And like the first, I can't remember who it was, but what ended up happening, I had to look it up. I had to look it up. But what ended up happening is when they did an autopsy on him, because he ended up dying, what they recognized was that they looked at his brain and realized that it was already like something about the tissues and shit being detached already. So they're saying that from their medical opinion that it was a miracle that he had made it out of the previous fight through sparring, walking around to get into that last fight, because they said he shouldn't have made it that far. Crazy. So when I hear shit like that, and then I watch Errol Spence, I just wonder what's going to happen if Fundora, who's going to lands a really hard shot on him. Which shot is it going to be? Where Errol Spence falls out in that fucking ring. You know, like, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm telling you, man, that's what I think about when I think of Errol Spence. Why? I'd almost want to just run up on him and just grab him and say, my man, don't do it. Like, just don't do it. You got the life, man. But a fighter's going to do what a fighter wants to do. So good luck to Errol Spence. Anyway, y'all keep cool. He ain't being done wrong. Fundora going to do his ass wrong. And if Fundora don't do him wrong, Errol Spence going to do himself wrong by hanging around the sport a lot longer than what he should. In the breeze.